Welcome to today's show here on JTV. It is Wednesday. I'm David Rice. Thank you for watching online on TV, listening on the pod. Appreciate it. Our show today brought to you by the Insurance Circle Agency, located in both Jackson and Battle Creek. MyInsuranceCircle.com. I'm David. That's Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hey, man. Happy Hump Day.
That's right. It's Hump Day, and I can't believe we're already getting to week 4 of high school football.
Crazy.
It just flies by that we're almost halfway through the season already.
Yeah, dude, it always flies by so quick.
We have some really close games, or actually some really good games on the docket for our picks, which we'll get to later in the show. And, of course, Tigers gained a little bit more in the playoff race, 1.5 games back. Really 2.5. Because Minnesota owns the tiebreaker.
Or I guess you could just say 2. I guess
or
like
2.
the half. Yeah.
And we'll have video highlights from local volleyball, so stay tuned for that. So we've got a great show. High school sports update. Again, right in the thick of the fall sports starting to get there. A lot of volleyball happening over the past couple of days. Columbia Central. Straight sets over Homer. Same thing with Grass Lake over Napoleon. Concord, straight sets over Union City. Every single volleyball game I have on our scoreboard was all straight sets except for one. Manchester got a win in straight sets. Hanover Horton. Hillsdale over Jackson Christian. Jackson High. Leslie 3-1. And Addison over Vandercook. Boys Cross Country. Cascades West Jamboree. Hanover Horton won that. Jonesville was second. Cascades East, Leslie won that, the host school. And JPAC, Jackson Prep, finished second. And Springport third at the Jackson Prep Invitational. Girls cross country, the Cascades West, Hanover Horton, edged Jonesville. Leslie, the home team, won the event. Grass Lake was second. And Jackson Prep and Springport tied for second at the girls' meet for that at Ellis Sharp Park. Couple boys soccer games. Northwest fell to Marshall 0-2. Coldwater over Western 2-1. Gabriel Richard over Lumen 3-2. Western finished third. EJ placed 5th. Lumen Christie in 6th, right behind EJ at the girls golf, the Jackson Area Invitational. Almost all 20 area schools there, so a big invitational at Cascades. And Jackson and Western both in tennis as well. So, again, for any sports updates and the daily scoreboard, video highlights and recaps and everything, not even just sports pictures, but other community events, JTV.TV. And while we have a minute, of course, I share the studio with the Monday Mornings podcast. That new episode is out now. I want to give them a shout out with the host of Switch and Game Show Network and actor Jeff Hefner. It was, I have to finish watching that. I watched the first part of it so far. It's really good.
Yeah, he did a great job. He was a really cool guest to have on the show.
I heard he had a lot of great stories to tell and inspiring stories to tell.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he had a lot of really funny stories just talking about him being in the industry and stuff. So yeah, definitely worth checking out for sure.
You can check that out. It's brought to you by Southern Michigan Bank and Trust, online at JTV.TV or wherever you get your podcasts. So when we come back, we'll have video highlights from a couple days ago, some local volleyball, Jackson Christian taking on Calhoun Christian. Plus, we'll get to our picks. We are neck and neck so far this year.
Yes,
so
we are.
Really close. There's even 2 Monday night football games. So that's all coming up. We've got volleyball highlights when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV, brought to you by the Insurance Circle Agency. I'm David Rice. A couple days ago, we had some volleyball locally happening, and we just happened to have a camera there. Jackson Christian, the Royals volleyball, taking on Calhoun Christian. And of course, you can also check out sports highlights and everything online, too, on JTV.tv and on our Facebook at JTV Sports. So let's take a look at some volleyball highlights from Jackson Christian. Thanks to JTV's own Noah Baker and our entire sports staff. But thanks to Noah for going out to Jackson Christian. Hey, when we come back, we've got our picks. A lot of games to get to. High school, college, NFL. Both Michigan and Michigan State actually play a legit opponent this week. So we'll have picks when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Our show today brought to you by the Insurance Circle Agency. So thanks to the Circle. Let's get right into it. The picks. Got a lot of games to get to. Season standings are really close, neck and neck. 26 for yours truly. 25 so far this year
Couldn't be
for Adam
closer,
Braggin's.
man.
That's really couldn't. Well, it literally couldn't be any. I was trying to figure out how I have one up over you. I don't know.
Yeah, we must have differed.
I know there was one high school game where I picked different than you. There
Michigan
was a
Center,
couple.
Jonesville. You had Michigan Center. I had Jonesville in that game, and didn't Michigan Center win?
Yes, they did. Okay.
That's probably the deciding one right there.
That would be it then. Okay. All right, well, let's get right into it. 8-man action. Britton Deerfield taking on Concord. These are two exceptional 8-man football teams. And the way Concord looked last week against another big 8-man team in Mendon, I mean, they gave up 84 points to Mendon. So I just don't know if I trust Concord. I'm going to take the Patriots, Britton Deerfield, at home over Concord.
I did not know that they were the Patriots.
They are the Patriots.
Even with that being said, I will take Britton Deerfield.
Not a lot of people might know that. I mean, there's 5 people that live there and no cell reception. So
yeah, I think Concord got beat up pretty bad last week. So yeah, I've Britton Deerfield in this one.
Springport Stockbridge, not 8-man, but Big 8 conference action. Springport 3-0 for the first time since 2019. First time. So shout out to head coach Ben Pack and the Spartans program. And Stockbridge has struggled. They lost a couple weeks ago to Union City and their rival Leslie. Give me the Springport to go 4-0. I'll take them on the road.
I have them as well being 4-0, and there's another team a little bit later that I also have going 4-0.
Oh, okay. Is it the other
Those
Spartans
spoilers.
team?
I'm not saying anything until we get to it.
Lumen Christi, a big Catholic League game against U of D Jesuit. Lumen Christi lost to Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. Notre Dame Prep, a lot better than I thought. They scored 21 in the fourth a couple weeks ago, came back and beat Lumen. Lumen last week just dominated against the Canadians in Toronto St. Michael's College. This is another big game. These are the two best teams in their division in the Catholic League. I'll let you pick first in this game. I need a second here.
Of course you do. I have Lumen. I said earlier on in the season that I had them undefeated, and I think that one loss was a fluke. You know, I think it was kind of a punch
Just
in the
like
mouth.
Charles Barkley says it. It was a fluke.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a punch in the mouth kind of thing. So I think they're going to be a lot better. So I 100% have Lumen Christi winning this game. I think it'll be fun. It'll be close. It'll be one of the best games of the week, but I got Lumen Christi.
It'll be a fun game. It'll be a packed game. It'll be a close game. And it could be a high-scoring game. But I'm going to go opposite on this pick. I'm going to shock some people. And I'm going to take U of D Jesuit at home over the local team, Lumen Christi. I-8 Western taking on Hastings. Hastings got a big win over Northwest last week, but Western's playing really well. We just saw them on JTV last Friday. Give me the Panthers, Western.
Ooh, we differ in this one. I think Hastings has. Yeah, I think it'll be a really good back and forth game, but I have Hastings getting the big upset. They're home, correct?
It is at Hastings.
Then for sure, I will take Hastings. I think it'll be close, and I think Western has a shot, but I'm just going to take a chance here and say Hastings picks up the win.
Wow. Well, that's not what I expected.
Hey, I got to be different. We got. It's 26-25. I got to change some stuff up a little bit.
And
we will discuss it at the end of it.
Get to that in a minute. Coldwater taking on Northwest. Northwest has struggled. Coldwater has struggled in recent years too. These two teams played each other a couple years back. I remember being on the call for a Coldwater Northwest game here. Northwest at home, but I will take Coldwater.
Yeah, I'm not willing to take Northwest. I'm not willing to be different here. I just think Coldwater is just the better team. So I'll take Coldwater here.
And it's two teams that have struggled, that they both know they can beat each other in this game. It's like what we said about Vandercook EJ a few weeks ago. But the way this isn't so far what we've expected from this Northwest team coming into this year based on the last 2 years, how they've dramatically improved. And until I really see something change, I'm not going to pick the Mounties, unfortunately. So I'm going to take Coldwater. Jackson got a big SEC white win over Tecumseh last week at home. Blair Pippin, quarterback Kyron Stamper had some big nights. You can watch our post-game thoughts on our social media. Jackson at Pinckney, the Pirates of Pinckney. Give me Jackson to go 4-0.
I was hoping we were going to be different on this, but I can't not take Jackson. Jackson 4-0. I don't know when was the last time they were 4-0, but they will keep on rolling and will be 4-0.
Grass Lake moving to the Cascades. They will take on East Jackson. East Jackson struggled, and you know how I feel about Grass Lake. Give me the Warriors.
Yeah, Grace Lake, I think, gets the win back. I think quarterback play is still going to be very, very good. I have Grass Lake winning this game, and I don't think it'll be by too small of a margin. I think Grass Lake's going to pick up the win by a lot.
Coach Josh Lindemann and the Flying Dutch of Manchester at home against the Napoleon Pirates. It's a Cascades East battle. And this is a big game in the Cascades East because next week, Napoleon plays Grass Lake.
Great
We'll
game.
be there
Yes.
on JTV
Can't
next
wait
week.
for
So it's a very it's a homecoming game for me. It's a close game to home for Dan Gallagher and Josh Brigette. So
That's awesome.
we're all personally related to this
Yeah,
game
that's
next
great.
week. But these next 2 weeks for Napoleon will be big Cascades East deciding games. And even the game this week, Leslie Center, will be one too. It's really tight in the East. And I'm going to take Manchester. Coach Lindemann, they've been playing really well. And I know Napoleon's 2-1, and they run a wing tee. But Napoleon has struggled in the past couple of years against Lindemann. When they've played Addison, it has not gone well for them. And the way Lindemann runs the tee, I'm fascinated watching it. And that's like I played in NCAA against my brother over the weekend, and I ran the wing tee, not with a team that normally runs it, but I won. I was actually Western Michigan, a MAC school, and I beat, I don't remember what team he was, but it was a Power 5 school.
Wow,
So,
there you go. Yeah.
Western Michigan running a tee. Shout out Manchester. They're going to win.
I think this will be the game where they figure it out. Napoleon will get the
Wow.
win. I think they're going to have a big win and have a lot of momentum going into next week for that very interesting matchup against Grass Lake. But I will have Napoleon defeating Manchester. I like that we differ on some of these. This is good. Makes it exciting to follow the scores.
One of us is going to be leading by a handful going into next week then.
And I think I know who.
Addison taking on Columbia. It will be me, by the way. Addison, Columbia Central, a Cascades West battle. I will be there. That's at Columbia. Addison by a lot.
Same here. Addison by a pretty good margin. This might be the biggest margin of all of these on this list, so I'll take Addison.
Two teams from the Cascades West. We talked about earlier when Vandercook played East Jackson. This was a game they both knew that they could win, and Vandercook won and scored 43 points in that game. And they take on Homer, a team who is 0-3 coming in. Vandercook 1-2. Give me the Cook. Jayhawks will go 2-2.
I was also going to take Vandercook. This is one of the closest games on here that I think anybody can win. It's closest to a pick 'em as you possibly get, but I think Vandercook Lake will have the edge over them. Like you said, 2-2, right? So
If they win, they'll be 2-2.
So I love it. Vandercook Lake 2-2, calling it now.
Another Cascades West matchup. Hanover taking on Jonesville at the Comets. It's the battle of the Comets. Hanover versus
That's
Jonesville.
pretty awesome.
But give me the red, white, and blue from Hanover Horton. Comets of Hanover on the road.
I've been taking Jonesville, especially when they're at home. It might not be the best
It's hard
decision.
to now.
I know.
And Jonesville's an exceptional team. Don't get me wrong here, but Hanover put up almost 50 against Grass Lake, a great team. They put up 54 in week 1, and they beat Michigan Center week 2. So they've put up over 100 points through the first 3 games.
Call me crazy, but I think call me crazy, but I am going to go with Jonesville.
Okay, I was going to say, so you're going to take the Comets, right?
Yeah, no matter what, I'm taking the Comets. No, Comets
Good
will
choice.
win. Guaranteed the Comets will win. No, I'll take Jonesville. I think this game could come down to one team making a mistake. I think it's going to be a one-score game. I do. You guys might call me crazy, and then we're going to come in next week, and then we're going to see the score, and you might be like, but I'll take Jonesville.
When I lead 36 to 25.
I'll make it up in the NFL picks.
Okay. And one more high school game. We'll have this one live on JTV Friday night. Leslie at Michigan Center. This is going to be the first real test of the year for Leslie. Now, I know they've been lighting up the scoreboard, and they've had they've had amazing games through the first 3 weeks, but they've played Homer, and they've played Stockbridge, and they've played Vandercook. And we know the weapons that Michigan Center has on that team. But Michigan Center just hasn't done enough this year to really change my pick on this one. Leslie will pass the test and win on the road at Center.
I think Michigan Center will pass the test of Leslie. I think Michigan Center will prove that they're meant to be here and that they are a really good team this year. Leslie, this is, like you said, this is their big challenge. And I think it will be another close game. This is probably one of the other ones I think will be one of the closest ones. But I will give the edge to the home team, to Michigan Center, and have them pick up the win.
Couple college games. Michigan taking on USC. Alex Orji is starting for the Blue this weekend. I think watching Davis Warren through these first 3 weeks, my first takeaway is that he sucks. That's number one. Number two, it was Arkansas State, and he threw 3 interceptions. We cannot, if he throws 3 picks against Arkansas State, I can't imagine how many he would throw against USC. He would probably throw 13 against USC. I'm not even kidding. I'm glad Orji's starting. He played the whole fourth quarter against Arkansas State, moved the ball really well, threw a touchdown pass, and he had some big plays last year for Michigan on the national championship team. And this was number 10 USC. This is a top 10 team playing against number 18 Michigan. But Michigan will win. Go Blue. I will be there. Stripe out at the big house.
I'm glad you said that. I need to make up some points probably. I have USC winning this game, dude. As much as I'm going to root for Michigan to win, and I want Michigan to win, trust me, I'll be watching the game wanting Michigan to win, but USC has played better. They looked good against LSU. They've had some good performances. Michigan, man, just has not looked the same. USC, if this was a team last year, past couple years, it'd be a little different, but I think USC might just be a little too much. I think it being at the big house might make it a little bit closer, but I have USC winning this game. And after you're probably not happy with who I picked here, you really aren't going to be happy with who I picked in the next game.
Oh, my God. I know where you're going with this. I agree. I think I picked Michigan, obviously, but I do think USC will win. But obviously we know I'm going to pick Michigan.
Right. Your mind is telling you USC, but everything else is telling you to pick Michigan. I get it.
All right, number 24, Boston College taking on Sparty, 3-0. Give me Boston College at home. This will be Michigan State's first real test this year.
It'll be their first real test, and man, it's not that I don't. It's
Upset alert.
It's not that I like Michigan State that much. It's that I really just am not digging Boston College as much, and I think they're going to underperform. I have the Sparties.
I hope Brandon's watching.
He will love that I said that, and he probably also wouldn't believe that I said that.
I still don't believe it. Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Look, their offense has the potential. And that's what I'm looking at, is that their offense has the potential to get into
absolutely. And their quarterback has looked great.
Yeah.
Now, have they played, the Lenawee School of Technology, Maryland?
Right. Prairie View really wasn't a big test. But I think that Maryland team is actually really good, and that's what's made me be convinced that Michigan State might be pretty decent this year, just in terms of they can beat those teams. I think Maryland was decent. They whooped on Virginia after losing to Michigan State. So I think Boston College isn't 100% there, and I think even on the road, Michigan State wins.
All right, let's go to the NFL Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets taking on the Patriots, who are 1-1. They got a big Week 1 win, almost won in overtime at home last week. Lost in overtime to Seattle. I think this will be a decent game. Now, going into the season, on paper, if you would have told me the Patriots and the Jets would have been a close game, I would have thought that you might have took something before you watched the show.
Or it'd be like 2010. If it was like 2010,
If it was like Rex Ryan,
Yeah, Mark
2010,
Sanchez.
Mark the butt fumble,
yeah.
then it would have been different. But the way the Jets have looked,
See, I don't feel that everybody's like not a big fan of how the Jets look, and it's just like they still are working some things out. With this
I know they
offense.
beat the Titans, but they struggled against the Titans. And
Well, Titans aren't that great, so we'll have to keep that in mind.
right, but they struggled against a team who wasn't very good. The Titans
Still picked up the win though. Still picked up the win.
right, but this was a toss up for me. But I'm going to go with my guy Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking the Jets.
So hoping you were going to take the Patriots because I don't think this game will be close. I think the Jets will shine in this game. This will be the first.
You think it's an AFC East blowout?
I think this is the first game this year that people are gonna look a little bit at the Jets and say, "Oh no, this team might be something." But again, you're facing the Patriots, who I don't think are anything special. I think that they kind of have overperformed maybe to what their end. People are gonna look back at the season. I think they're still gonna be one of the worst teams in the not just in the division but in the NFL. So I think the Jets will shine here. I would say I have the Jets by 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Packers playing at the Titans. Malik Willis, former Titan.
That's pretty cool.
Now, it's not for sure if Malik is going to play. Jordan Love may come back on Sunday. If not this Sunday, next Sunday. Like, it's either one of those two.
I wouldn't rush him. If
Today's the
Green Bay.
first day he's practicing again.
Okay.
Doesn't matter because the Titans aren't good, like we just mentioned. Should the Packers have played better and won by a lot more against the Colts? Yes. But, again, it was also the first game with the backup quarterback. Like, he'd only been with the team for 2 weeks before the Colts game. He was still learning the offense. So to go out there and play the way they did, it was a low-scoring, good win for Green Bay with the backup. I don't think it matters to me. Love, Malik, go Pack.
I want to take the Titans really bad. I do.
You know who to pick here?
Nothing shows me that the Titans are going to win this game, but
Josh Jacobs.
I would be more inclined to pick them if I knew Malik was starting. I would be more inclined because I think Vrabel knows his guys and his people that he's previously had on that team. But I'm going to take the team from the Cheesehead State. And that's all I'll say.
Thank you. Yeah, I really
great.
appreciate that.
It depends on who you pick.
I have 2 Cheesehead hats.
No, I don't need it.
How about,
how about
as a part of our bet, instead of wearing the regular hat, you wear the Cheesehead?
Then I'll have to find like a lion's head for you to wear the entire day. Like you'll have to wear like an entire lion's head.
Never mind, I take back what I said then,
Cool.
because that'd be really ugly on me. So it already is ugly. But Lions, speaking of them, they play the Cardinals. The Cardinals look really good against the Rams, but the Rams are depleted, and they don't have their star wide receivers. Give me the Lions at Arizona.
I am a little scared, though, because I think our secondary has been taking hits. But
I think it'll be a great game.
I think
it could be high scoring.
Yeah. It's not, Lions coming off of what we did last week, even though I do think the Bucs are a good team. Coming off of how we performed last week and how the Cardinals performed, maybe experts might be telling you to take the Cardinals because of they're on a roll, and Lions are kind of reeling after that. But I don't think this will be a big issue. I think we're gonna get that win back, and I really hope that our secondary plays well and shuts down Harrison. If they shut down Harrison, Lions will pick up the win.
God, that'll be such a good matchup. Marvin Harrison
It's fun to see. I assume
against Arnold.
Terry and Arnold,
Yeah. Sunday Night Football, for some reason, they're showing the Chiefs going to Atlanta and just beating them like a dog. On paper, coming into the season, I would have said that, but the Falcons beat the Eagles. I know it was by 1. The Chiefs beat the Bengals by 1.
Oh, does this mean?
I am taking on primetime, they will show up and get the win. on the road, taking Mahomes.
Oh, come on. I thought you were going to say the Falcons. I was going to be so excited.
No, I'm not taking Kirk in prime time against Mahomes. It's Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Chris Collinsworth is going to be. Well, never mind. I can't say what I want to.
You know how this is going to. You know that this is the type of game that somehow the Falcons are going to win, and we're going to be so confused. I didn't even
think they had a chance against the Eagles.
I know, but I can't take. Even though that the Falcons are rolling and that last drive looked great. I have to take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are still one of the top teams. They're trying for a three-peat. Give me the Chiefs on the road. I just cannot trust Kirk Cousins in a primetime spot like this.
Oh, I didn't trust him last week. I don't.
Yeah, but then he did it.
But then he
How
did
many
it.
times? How many times this season are we gonna? And I want to like this Falcons team. They have so many weapons. They're a fun team. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and I feel bad for Atlanta fans going to that game. I think Mahomes, if they play how they did against Baltimore, that game will not be close.
Right. All right, 2 Monday night games. I'm assuming one's on ABC and one on ESPN.
I don't like when they do this because usually they overlap, and then you're trying to watch 2 at once, and it's just like I'd much rather have it.
Well, I'd rather try to just keep up with 2 on a Monday than when we keep up with 10 in a row.
Yeah, but Red Zone's fun. So, like, you'll sit there and watch Red Zone. You can still follow it, but there's no Red Zone for this. I'd rather have one extra 4 o'clock game because I think this last week, I don't know how it is this week, but this last week, there was, I think, only 3 4 o'clock games. So
3 or 4, yeah.
To have an extra one, would have been cool. But in this game specifically, I have the Bills. I think the Bills are just going to continue to roll. The Jets, that's another reason I think they win. They realize this division is going to start slipping away from them if they don't start picking up these wins in games that they have to win. So Bills are just going to keep rolling. I think they're one of the really right now looking at it, I think they're one of the best teams in the AFC. So I have the Bills.
Bills at home over Jacksonville for me. In the other Monday night game, the Bengals, who lost by 1 to Kansas City, take on the 1-1 Commanders with Jaden Daniels. Give me Joe Burrow and Jamar.
Exciting seeing how Daniels has been playing for the Commanders. I think he's got that potential there. You can see it. But the Commanders as a whole just isn't there yet. I think
as a whole they suck.
Yeah,
there's no other way to go.
I think second worst team in football right now would probably be them, in my opinion.
Behind Carolina.
No, Carolina. Yeah, well, Carolina's the worst team.
But now that they have the Red Rocket back at quarterback, that could change. Just saying, I believe in Andy Dalton.
I loved those years of him in Cincinnati. Those were awesome with him and AJ Green and stuff. Like that was tons of fun. But that offensive line, that defense is so bad. So I think Carolina really doesn't change. Hey, I'm going out on a limb. We might be looking at a winless team this year. Especially if Andy Dalton doesn't work out and that offensive line is just continuing to crumble. We could be looking at a winless team. But to get back to the Commanders and Bengals, I have the Bengals winning this game. Commanders, I think, are a second worst team in football.
Everything you said there would also say, so I will take the Bengals. So again, that's our picks. I'm beating Adam by 1.
Oh, let's talk about what we're going to wager.
Yeah. So if after the final week of the high school regular
a postseason, because we'll go up to the final game.
Yep. If we have a local team that makes it to Ford Field that final weekend, whoever's leading in our picks, the whole season standings, so we're including in this high school, NFL, and college, whoever's in the lead, obviously, will win. The loser, if Adam wins, I'll have to wear Lions stuff, which
for a whole week. It's a whole week,
which will make me just. What if I just don't show up to work?
We're bringing the podcast to your house then.
That's fine. I'll do it in my pajamas at home. That's
well,
fine
they better
with
be
me.
Lions pajamas, but that sounds good.
It'll make me throw up. And then if I win, he's gonna wear some Packers stuff for
the whole week, and that'll be 2 shows. That'll cover 2 shows.
Oh, and that'll be so awesome.
Oh, and I cannot wait to see you in Lions Honolulu blue.
That'll be so ugly.
Be bringing in the Lions helmet. We'll have a whole celebration for that. It'll be great. You better hope that you don't.
I better be sharp and mentally focused from here on out because I do not want to wear that team on my back.
And to everybody at home, please don't give David Rice any pointers on any NFL picks because you, just like me, want to see him in that Honolulu blue. So please, I'm begging
If any
you.
like fantasy experts are watching, I guess just any football expert, call me or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd
No.
like some advice.
No.
So
I don't need the advice. That's how confident I am. I don't need the advice, and please don't help David.
all right, when we come back, the Tigers are 1.5 games back of the playoffs. Now, the Tigers update, they beat the Royals on Tuesday. We'll talk Tigers and high school football when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Before we go here, Tigers, they beat the Royals on Tuesday, 3-1, 79-73, 1.5 games back now of the last AL wildcard spot. Really, it's 2 or 2.5 due to Minnesota having the tiebreaker over us. They no longer do game 163 anymore in that situation. Like the NFL a couple years ago, the rare instance where they had to have game 257. Remember that? Because it was they literally had everything tied in their tiebreakers.
Well, I still remember in baseball that game 163 that we had. This would have been 2010, I believe, against the Twins. At
Tigers?
At the Metrodome. I remember that game, and I was young. I remember being heartbroken after that game, just because it's like I thought our team was so good.
Because those games are just straight up,
It's a
the
playoff
win
game.
and it's
sudden
like
death.
the first wild card game essentially before you actually get to the playoff. It's you win or your season's over.
But I understand why we don't have it anymore, just because of it's this expanded playoff now. More wild card teams get in, so I understand not having that extra game. But this is the type of situation that I look and it's just like, man, I wish we had that. But I'm hoping that by this point we don't have to worry about, in a week we're not going to really have to worry about that tiebreaker. But I do want to mention that we cannot forget about Seattle. Seattle's starting to creep in a little bit. They're 3 games back of the wild card. We got to look at them and hope that they lose, and they're against New York tonight.
Do we have on hand what the upcoming schedule is for the for the
Seattle?
Mariners? Yeah.
Yeah, so they are going to be at Texas after this. So they got a couple more games with New York, which I think Cortez is on the mound tonight for New York. So I have New York winning.
Yep.
And then after that, they're going to be facing Texas and Houston. So we're going to be, and that's at Houston. So we're going to be cheering for AJ Hinch's former team, Houston, to kind of shut the door on them. Then they have 3 games against Oakland, but we hope after that, we hope that road trip is going to do them in. So then we don't have to worry about them. And then it's just going to be our rivals after that. So we're just going to be worrying about the Twins and everybody else.
Right. And this weekend, the Tigers have a big series at Baltimore, at Camden. The Tigers struggle playing there at Baltimore. So I'm a little nervous. I know we just played them over the weekend here and beat them 2 out of 3, but it's just something different about playing there.
And they're going to look to win, man. I mean, these are big games for them. They don't want to have to worry about being in this wild card. They want to win the AL East, and if the Yankees keep winning, it's going to be really tough for them. So these games are not going to be easy. I just really hope that we can at least maybe split it with them, or we just can't get swept. Not at this stage.
We can't. The least amount of games in a series we can lose now is 1. We cannot get swept.
Yep.
Even 1 will keep our hopes up, up there a little bit. So,
but we've been playing so well. I have full confidence in our team that we're going to continue to play well. AJ Hinch has gotten these guys ready for playoff baseball.
Of course, I'm worried because of how tight the race is, but I'm also not worried because, like you said, we've been playing really well. And even if something, I hate to say this, but even if something does happen and we don't end up getting in the playoffs, it's still an awesome way to end the season. And I think next year, playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I've waited a long time for this. I'm ready for postseason baseball, even if that means just a wild card series. I just want to see the Tigers in meaningful baseball, and it's fun right now having this meaningful baseball and facing
in mid-September. The
It's pretty
Tigers are
awesome.
still playing meaningful baseball.
Yeah, it's so great, so great. But man, am I excited for the next few weeks.
All right, real quick before we go here, we will be live Friday night, week 4 of high school football at Michigan Center. The Blackhawks, Coach Tim McCann in the 3-0. Leslie will be playing at Michigan Center. Coach Troy Allen and quarterback Trey Collins, and the Cardinals 2-1. They get a low-scoring win over Jonesville last week, 14-6. Should be a good one. Leslie at center, Pat O'Dowd, Josh Brigette, Max Fritz on the call, 6:45 Friday night. So thanks to everyone on today's show, Pataki Orthodontics, Insurance Circle Agency, Minuteman for bringing us live high school football. And thanks to Noah for the volleyball highlights from earlier, too. So have a great weekend. Enjoy all the high school and college games over the weekend, and we will talk to you Monday.